This Out and About with Jamie Grout podcast is about mental health. And we're talking with Terry and Kim in just a couple of moments from Integrated Treatment Services in Newton about that all-important topic. But first, a word from our sponsors, including Clement Mackey Insurance. They'll be sponsoring the Veterans Day ceremonies that will be live casting on the Out and About with Jamie Grout Facebook page on Monday morning at 11 o'clock. If you can't make it to the American Legion in Newton for those ceremonies, make sure you join us for the live stream from the Legion. And also on their Facebook page, they have a story about flood damage and how it can cause thousands of dollars in damages. But did you know it's not always covered by homeowners insurance? And they have a tutorial about that on what you need to know as a homeowner for your flood insurance. Also by the folks at Newton Clinic. Now, whether you're looking for someone to help you on your health journey or a teammate who will have your back when it comes to keeping your body game ready, Dr. Perrin might be the provider for you. Sound like a doctor you might want on your side? If that's the case, call or text 641-792-2112 to schedule today at Newton Clinic. Also by Ryan's Tire and Auto on First Avenue in Newton. You know, just like always, they support Newton and Jasper County, and they have your back. Prices you can afford, quality you can trust, and service you deserve. From Ryan's Tire and Auto on First Avenue, Newton. And also by Tony Pesca, Iowa Realty Expert. Give Tony a call at 641-417-8484. And Advantage Credit Union.
Let us pay you for checking with us. Hi, this is Leslie with Advantage Credit Union, inviting you to take advantage of Cha-Ching Rewards checking. Earn 3% APY on balances up to $10,000. That's up to $25 per month that ACU pays you. No minimum balance, no monthly fees. Simply do the things you're already doing and cash in at the credit union. Apply online at acuiowa.org or visit us in downtown Newton.
APY is annual percentage yield. Restrictions apply. Federally insured by the NCUA.
This podcast is about mental health, and we're talking with a couple of people from Integrated Treatment Services. We'll be talking with Terry Salas and Kim Zenting, who is a counselor here at Integrated Treatment Services. First of all, Terry, tell me what Integrated Treatment Services is all about. What's your mission? What do you do here?
Integrated Treatment Services is an agency that we started about 18 years ago. And I was just coming out of prison. Oh. I did 12 years in prison and pretty much in and out of the system for the entirety of my life. And I came out, just wanted to do something for myself and do something for the community that has helped me in a lot of ways. So I come out. I went to DMAC, I got my AA degree, then I went to Grandview and I got my bachelor's degree, and I became a certified drug counselor from there. And from there I went to University of Iowa and got my master's degree, and I became a licensed master social worker. And so the interest of our priority was mental health, and Kim and I met in the master's program at the University of Iowa, and we had similar ideas about, mental health and how it should be approached. We both knew and understood that it had to be client-centered and could not be about what we wanted, but let the client, he knows exactly what's wrong with him, and he could direct his own traffic. And so Integrated Treatment Services is an agency that we specialize. We're comprehensive and we're eclectic at the same time. Comprehensive meaning that we do mental health services with various intervention strategies. We also do substance abuse with various intervention strategies. And we also do behavior health intervention services for children. And we do an incredible job with them. And we do drunk driving evaluations. We do drunk driving school. And we also do a carnival, a free carnival. The Iowa State Fair is cost prohibitive for most of our families in this town. So the week following the Iowa State Fair shutting down, we do a carnival in the park.
Well, that is fantastic.
And everything at the carnival is free. All the food, we partner with Montana Mike's that prepares the food, and we have lots of entertainment and lots of other stuff, but she could be a bit more.
Yeah. Okay. Explain more about the carnival. But first, before we get to that, tell us about your background, Kim.
Okay. I grew up in Pella, Iowa. I went to Dordt College in Sioux Center, met my husband. We ended up moving to Storm Lake. I finished my last year at Buena Vista and transferred all my credits back. But that was a new experience for me, meeting people that were not like myself. And so that was very interesting to me. But then I raised my children. I have 4 boys, so I raised those. But at some point, my kids asked me when I was going to start getting paid for what I was doing anyway, which was counseling. So I went back to school, met Terry. I kept going a little bit farther and got supervision so that I could get the licensed independent mental health so that I could do mental health independently and not need supervision or anything later on. So we joined up and we serve anyone from 5 to 95. We're very inclusive with whoever walks through the door. We try to do a holistic approach. So a client has mental health issues, but they might also have transportation issues. They might have housing issues. They might not have a job. They might have substance abuse. So they might have parenting issues. So there's just a lot of things that go into a mental health diagnosis. You can't just treat one symptom. You have to kind of see the whole as every symptom as part of the whole picture and address everything within your scope of practice. Okay. I mean, like, I'm not a housing person, but I can help someone fill out a form for Section 8 because those kinds of things are prohibitive. People don't understand forms. They don't understand the questions that are being asked, and it's very intimidating. And so some people just don't do it because it's so intimidating. So we try to help our clients access help and additional services if they need them from outside of our agency. Mm-hmm. So about fear.
I have a fear that they're going to get rid of Obamacare. 70% of our clients access their health care programs through Obamacare. And if they do that, it's going to be millions of people out of insurance. Mm-hmm. If they don't have a plan, something integral that they can transition into seamlessly. So they don't have to have an extended period of time and they don't have any insurance. So that's a real fear. And, but we do a lot of pro bono work as it is, but you can't run an agency doing strictly pro bono. You got to have some reimbursements coming from a lot of those agencies, and getting money from insurance companies is difficult, as you may well know. They want you to pay your premiums, but when it comes to reimbursements, and the reimbursements are not a lot. Some agencies will not accept Medicare or Medicaid because the reimbursements are so low. So
I don't know which one of you wants to handle this or not, but I've been told that mental health is as important as physical health. Do you agree?
Definitely. I think they are very intertwined. For example, someone comes in and they're depressed. Well, then you find out that they recently had a heart attack or they recently had hip surgery and are not as mobile as they used to be. Those two things are intertwined. If you have physical issues, it's going to affect your mental health. On the other hand, we also have people that come in that are very depressed. And because they're so depressed, they don't get out of bed. So they're not moving. They're not exercising. They're not. And so their mental health exacerbates any physical issues that they have. They are depressed, so they focus on their pain instead of doing things to alleviate it. They just, for lack of a better word, can't see anything else but their pain. So our job as therapists is to help them to look outside of, look at the positive sides. One of Terry's big things is to write a gratitude list every night. I'll let him explain that.
First of all, let me say that you have comorbidity with mental health, and more than just physical. You got people going through grief and loss and just a lot of things that is comorbid with. Anybody can walk in this here door, and we can take this DSM-5 that I have right here and find a diagnosis. I can get a diagnosis on you. This is DSM-5. And it's very, very comprehensive. But the comorbidity with all of these other external factors that people deal with out there is the reality is just there. We have people coming in with grief and loss, and you might not understand this here, but a person that's getting off of alcohol and they've been alcohol dependent or drug dependent, and they get off of that, there's some serious grief and loss going on. That relationship is just as intimate as the relationship that you and your wife had. And they've had that relationship for a long period of time. So when they stop drinking, they stop using, then the mental health issues start manifest themselves, and they just rise to the top, and you can see that. And so you have to address the comorbidity with mental health and the substance issue and grief and loss, period.
I wanted to ask, we just got done with an election. Some people are happy, some people are sad. I don't want to get into politics specifically, but I want to talk about relationships, because there are people within their own homes that aren't talking to other people. There are people who've been good friends for years who aren't talking to people. It's become so divisive as a country. Do you, either one of you, have any advice on how people can get past that and try to live a normal life again and maybe hold hands and sing Kumbaya?
Well, first thing they can do is realize that they were friends before the election started. Mm-hmm. And if they can navigate themselves back to that space where there was some happiness and some getting along well, then, they might be able to get there. But people are so intense about politics. We've never seen this type of divisiveness. We've never seen this kind of anger and all of that from either side of the spectrum. I'm an independent. And so when I look at this election, there's a side that I voted for, but I'm not going to lose friendship with one of my best friends who's the brightest red you can ever get. I'm telling you, we have our bouts about it, but we can agree to disagree at the end of the day.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Same situation. What do you have to say, Kim?
There's reasons why people vote the way they do. And if you have some friends or family that you respect or whatever, then that has to go through. You have to respect them for the view that they have. You don't have to agree, but relationships are built on more than just politics or a specific viewpoint. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to look for the good in the relationship that you have and be able to look past your differences, because the reality is you have much more in common than you have differing, because that's why you're friends.
It's like I've heard analysts and commentators say there's much more that unites us than divides us.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And that's hard to deal with in a week like this, where 50% are devastated and 50% are extremely joyous. So it can be difficult to swallow or understand, because we are so divided. But at the end of the day, we're friends, we're neighbors, we're relatives, and we can't forget that.
I wanted to talk to you also, Kim, about the demographics of depression and anxiety. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to meet with you and Terry was because I understand, especially young people, are really interested in mental health topics. I hear this from some university professors and whatnot. Do you find that one demographic over another has more issues with depression and anxiety than others?
Unfortunately, we are seeing depression go into, I think it's always been in high school, but even some of the younger grades, depending on what's going on in their families, there's a lot of things that triggers sadness and despair and feeling out of control. I think feeling out of control is one of the biggest aspects of depression.
I think African Americans and minorities are born with PTSD. I think it's innate. They've been under so much pressure, for 300 and 400 years. It's been going on, and a lot of things haven't changed in that extended period of time. There's still a lot of police brutality. You walk down the street looking over your shoulder. You see, it's in Waterloo, and I was at the park talking to a group of guys. They seen a police car come. They said, "Police, let's go!" Mm-hmm. And everybody just broke up. Said, "What you scared of the police for?" Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's gotten to that. But yeah, definitely, I think there's more angst in minorities that would be subjected to PTSD at a very early age, mm-hmm. and trauma is a huge issue for a lot of people, wherever that area, whatever that trauma comes from, whether you witnessing your mom getting beat by your boyfriend or by the dad, and there's alcoholism in the family, there's anxiety and trauma that's there. And so you're going to find that in every demographic. One of the most unrepresented or unreported phenomena is farmers and farm ladies that we get calls from, and they will not come in. They will not deal with telehealth. They want to talk to you on the phone because of some of the issues that they deal with by being isolated in the rural areas. So that's a huge area, and that's an unreported phenomenon. And I think that we need to give it more interest than we do.
So I guess I wanted to ask too a little bit about dealing with depression. You folks are counselors, so from what I understand, you can't prescribe, but you can counsel for that. Are there some ways that the average listener can deal with depression, how they can maybe overcome it? We did talk about exercise. I know that was one of them. Are there some other ways?
I think that when someone is dealing with depression, it's because their situation seems overwhelming. Mm-hmm. The best way, I think, for people to stop focusing on their own is to focus on someone else's. Get involved, volunteer.
Well, for me, I think the best way for a person to try to pull himself up out of those depressions is that you just can't continue to live and suppress your feelings. You have to talk about those feelings to someone, but it can't be the people that are depressing you. I feel that you can make a connection with someone that you can trust and sit down and have those conversations and getting some of that information out of you onto them, and we recommend journaling and putting your feelings down on paper. And it has to be an honest journal, because you're having that conversation with you. And the journal has to be kept private. You can't give it to your spouse or anything like that there. But like Kim says, all of my clients, I have them write a gratitude list, 3 things that they're grateful for prior to going to bed. I think if you go to bed with conscious gratitude on your mind and you continue to do that, it rubs off. The research says that in 3 weeks, you'll start feeling better about yourself and about how you're feeling about other people. So I think a gratitude list is very, very important, as well as journaling.
Terry and I have different ways of doing things and different avenues that we use, but that's okay. And that's part of the thing of having a holistic counseling process, therapy process, is because I'm not going to fit with everyone. I'm not going to be a good fit for everyone. Terry's not going to be a good fit for everyone. So when someone comes in for therapy, we try to match them with who we think is the best.
And I'm curious then, when you try to match them, maybe Kim, you could tell us, do they fill out a form or do you talk to them about it? How does that work?
I don't do women.
There are times when I will do an eval. Terry does not see women. So I generally see most of the females for mental health therapy that come in. But I also see some men. But if I hear in the evaluation that there's something that would click with Terry's background, with Terry's expertise, then I'm going to refer that client to see Terry. Even though I did the initial evaluation, I will refer him to Terry, and he will do the same thing for me. Okay. So, for example, I'm a mom of 4 boys. So if a mom comes in or a dad or whatever, and they're having struggles with particular parenting issues, Terry may refer it to me, or he may keep it if he relates to what the man is saying. So it just kind of depends on the issue.
I could talk to you two all day long about mental health. And I hope if you guys have time, we can do this on a monthly basis, because this is such a vital thing that I think people need to focus on. Maybe next month, as we get into December, we could talk about holiday blues, because it seems like people get that, especially if they've lost a loved one within the past year. So I'd like to get together with you again sometime. Terry, if people want to reach Integrated Treatment Services, how can they go about doing that?
Well, they can email us here. You can tell them. I don't know what email address is.
You can email Terry at Terry, Terry, at itsnewton.com. Terry at itsnewton.com, or Kimberly at itsnewton.com. Kimberly is Kimberly. Or you can call the number for the office, 641-792-0045.
All right. Thank you so much for talking with me, folks.
Thank you.
Anytime.
That's going to wrap it up for this edition of Out and About with Jamie Grout. This podcast also sponsored by Newton Des Moines East KOA, where they have handyman services available, along with RV storage and also a retreat package you can get in on. And you'll be hearing more about that later on. Also, Joel Shields, who deals with Medicare supplements, long-term care, health and life at IIS, Interstate Insurance Services. It's open enrollment period for Medicare right now. If you need a supplement, talk to Joel. Also by the Pizza Ranch in Newton, the Salvation Army also sponsoring this. Tonight, I'm going to be heading out to be an auctioneer for their annual quilt auction, and they want to remind you they're looking for bell ringers for various places around Newton. You can sign up at registertoring.com. Also by Johnson Aviation, they're really excited about their plane that they have coming in. It's a brand spanking new plane. And if you want a charter flight, this is the plane to go to if you're wanting to fly from point A to point B. And they also have flying lessons available at Johnson Aviation at the Newton Airport. We're with Dana from Newton Des Moines East KOA. And Dana, I understand you have a handyman service going on. Tell us about that.
Yes, here at Newton Des Moines East KOA, we have a spectacular crew of people that work for us. And some of these people wanted to continue working for us through the winter, so they came up with a plan to create our Newton KOA handyman service. So we, for an hourly rate, we do have a minimum 2 hours for 2 guys to come out, or 2 people to come out and take care of the services that you're asking for. We can do all kinds of services, garage clean out, trash hauling, putting up Christmas lights, auto detailing, if you need something done, just call us and ask us, and we'll let you know what we can do for you.
Well, that's fantastic. And we talked about this before, but it's kind of a neat thing. We've wanted to put up Christmas lights around our house. I got to tell you, I don't like getting up on a ladder. I have a fear of heights, but your handyman service will take care of that for you.
Exactly. Our guys will come out. You just let them know your vision, and you provide the lights, and we'll get them put up for you.
Fantastic. All right. Let's talk about your storage facility that you have here at KOA.
Well, our storage facility is actually our campground, but it's in the older part of the park where we have to shut it down for the winter.
I see.
Because the water has to be shut off. And so we have about 60 spaces available where people can bring their RVs or their trailers or their boats and store them in one of our camping spaces for the winter months from October 1st until April 30th. It's only $75 a month or $70 a month if you pay in advance at least 3 months. And it's a great place to put that so that you have more space in your driveway for the winter.
And it's in a safe, secure area.
Exactly. We have security cameras throughout. We staff during the day, and we have on-site management here. In fact, my husband and I live here on site 24/7. So.
All right. And you have a retreat coming up. Let's talk about that.
Well, we have our Vintage Row retreat package. We have 4 vintage campers that we acquired and decorated, and then put patios and picnic tables with them. All of these are from the 1960s. We have a Forester, a Shasta, and 2 Airstreams. We can sleep up to 12 people, and we invite people to call us and come out and take a look at our new Vintage Row so that you could come and do a weekend retreat or a week-long retreat. We're open to any kind of customized package that you'd be interested in.
You have said that you named the campers after the Golden Girls?
Yes, we did. Because of the era that all of these campers were produced, we named them after Rose, Dorothy, Blanche, and Sophia from the Golden Girls.
It sounds like a lot of fun, and you're going to just kind of roll out the red carpet for this whole thing. And the thing that caught my attention, of course, I like food, but you're going to have like cookies available too and that kind of thing?
Absolutely. You can rent the Vintage Row a la carte, where you just rent it and you bring all your own stuff. Or you can do what we call our all-inclusive package, where we provide all the food for you for the entire weekend, along with ice and wood and wine and Ulrich meats and grass-fed beef, as well as the salads and homemade cookies and homemade brownies.
Wow, a lot of fun, good times for sure. So get in on that. And if people are interested in any of these services, how can they contact you, Dana?
All they have to do is call our Newton Des Moines KOA office at 641-792-2428.
One more time with that phone number.
641-792-2428.
Thanks for talking with us.
Thank you, Jamie.
Until next time, out is out. See ya.